welcome to Elly's Spurs Ladies Show, my debut show for the ladies. And today I've got my fellow host, Dermot Moyles, how are you today, Dermot?
I am doing very well, Elly. Really excited about this dream, going through your career as a Spurs legend as you are, and also promoting and bigging up the women's Spurs team because they are a great watch. I've watched them on Sky. I've followed them now this season very closely, and I think we've got a good team. They've won more than the men have over the last few years, to be fair. So that's saying something. And yeah, really excited about the show, Elly, and looking forward to you taking me on the journey on educating me and everyone else how great this ladies Spurs team is and how great women football is as well.
Yeah, I mean, following the Euros, it's sort of expanded the women's game and given us a greater profile. So I'm really happy about that because we haven't been in the background. We've been in the peripheral sides of football in terms of highlighting the ladies' game. But now the women have won the Euros, the England ladies, it's sort of put us on a level and we're getting a lot of exposure. We're getting a lot of advertising. And I hope to God that they pump a lot of money into the grassroots of ladies football as well, because we're not guaranteed that. It all depends on the FA and the Football League, what they do. But it takes time. It's not like the men's game grew that quickly. You know, it takes time to get to that level where you think, right, ladies football has reached the higher echelons of football in terms of their football. But I'm really excited because I'm waiting to hear all the questions you're going to ask me as well. Yeah. And we'll go through some of the ladies' appearances and the results so far. And also highlighting some of the very good things that are going on in the background at Spurs Ladies as well. Yeah,
that is so true, Elly. Look, I think we should start with you, Elly. You are a Spurs Ladies legend. You were there at the very beginning, and you've seen the women's game grown. And like for us over here, our ladies side, national side, has just qualified for the first ever World Cup next year. I think it's in Australia, I think. So I'm super buzzed about that. But Elly, this is about you. This is about your journey from starting it to where the women's game is now. So look, I've got a little bit of your appearances. So we'll bring that up first and then we'll go through. Yeah. We'll go through it all then. If this now
oh my God. I still had chunky legs then.
Elly, there's still Messi standing there, right? Looking to go through. Can you explain to the people who you're playing against and when was that picture taken and how old were you?
Right, that was 1975, I believe, 1975, because I was 13. I remember we were playing Man United in a friendly game over at Markfield Park. And that was where we played our school games as well. We invited them because what we did, we sent out loads of invitations. Well, our manager did. He sent out loads of invitations because we wanted to do like an event at my school because I was playing for the boys team. And that the year before, that's when Spurs Ladies scouted me. There was two gentlemen and a lady came over to watch me play for the boys team. And I played at the Drayton School at Markfield Park. So when they came, it was fantastic because they wore traditional red shirts, but we weren't allowed to wear the logos then because we weren't officially accepted by the club as an official club under them, which was a shame because we did try our best, honestly. I mean, I was only young, so what did I know at 12 and 13 years old? By the time I was 16, 17, I was campaigning. You know, because you've got a little bit more brain then, you know, and you've got a little bit more about you to put your case. Yeah, so it was very exciting. The match finished 3-2 to us, I remember very well. And my dad was probably the loudest person there.
Well, I tell you one thing, Elly, you're a record as a lady. I mean, that's as good as any Spurs man side during the years. I'm going to tell you that. I mean, you made 146 appearances for the Spurs ladies team. You scored 97 goals. I mean,
brilliant.
Can you not
Really
continue
good
on?
goals as well.
Can you not continue on for a
They
few
weren't
more
happy.
games just to get 100, Elly? I mean, that would have been.
Yeah. Do you know what? Because I had so many injuries, Dermot. I tried to play a little bit extra to get the 100 goals, but my legs gave in. And because I broke my leg 3 times, my collarbone was broken by an American lady playing in a friendly again, because the American teams were way ahead of us in terms of their physicality.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was in hospital on and off for 6 months with my collarbone, getting it reset, because it dislocated my shoulder blade as well, which still hurts to this day. I had so many injuries, and it was hard. It was hard, especially in the cold weather on those pitches. You know, you hear the male players talking about the pitches. The women, we had to play on them as well, so we weren't any exception.
No.
You know, and
you 97 goals, 82 assists. You've won you're 7 times Southern League Ladies Cup champion, which is unreal. We'll go down to the second slate then. This is now, you had a long career, Elly. You started your career in 75, 76. And what I didn't realise, and I don't know if you've copped onto this, you were at the club as long as Keith Birkinshaw was at the club. You started with Keith Birkinshaw, and the season you retired was the season he left. Now, I didn't put that on until I was putting this together. So that's quite of an achievement in itself. Your position you played was central attacking midfielder, so you're a bit like Modric, or a bit like
I was like Modric a lot. I was like ideal as the Modric. I used to put my arms out to stop everybody getting to me, but they used to get my ankles. They used to get, because I was quite nippy. I was very tricky, you know, and I used to dribble a lot. So it was a good time of my life. Magical time.
Your biggest attendance was a charity NHS game at the Bowling Ground West. That used to be West Ham's old ground before they moved to London Stadium. 24,000.
Yeah.
How did you feel playing in 24,000? I mean,
oh my God.
A, how did it feel, Elly? And B, what did it do for the women's game in that time? It was
really. Yeah, it was really good, because it was a good advert for the game, but it was also a good advert for the NHS. And I just remember everybody at that ground was so supportive. Like when we were walking into the ground, I just remember everybody having a smile on their face. Everybody was happy that they were playing Spurs at West Ham as well, because even though the male team had the hostilities even then, I think the women's game, it was a lot more calmer in terms of the hostility. So I just remember like looking at the stadium and thinking, bloody hell, I'm playing here, you know, and our manager was geeing us up before the game. And it finished 2-2, actually. We didn't fix it, but we said before the game it'd be good if it was a draw, you know, because it was a friendly. So
hang on a minute. Elly, hang on. Are you telling me, right, we're going to get a bit of an exclusive here? You were at match fixing now. Come on, Elly, come on.
I've never actually said this online, you know, but we said we wanted it to be a draw, but we didn't really play for the draw. Well, how can you play for a draw? You can't, right? But we were 2-1 down, and my friend Brenda McKenzie equalised. So, she was my school friend as well, who also got scouted the year after me. Because she used to play with us, but she wasn't like so keen on football like me. But she was a really good footballer. She was tall and elegant. Yes, she played as our striker. So, I really enjoyed my time. That match was the highlight. I would say that match and the match we played, that friendly match I showed you when I was young, because that was my first real competitive match. Proper competitive match, and it was hard because we played on a horrible pitch.
And your biggest home attendance also, Elly, was 1,760. Where did you play your home matches?
We played at Somerset School, and we played at Markfield School as well, which it used to be called Markfield School before it changed to the Drayton School. The second year I was there, it changed to the Drayton School, and it's now called Glademore Community School in Tottenham. It's in South Tottenham. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
and then again, of course, Elly, we will get into it. I've got questions about it, but there's you again, little Gil Messi.
Oh,
that's what we're going to nickname you now. And of course the Spurs logo, and then of course her game too, which you are ambassador for. But that's something we will get into. But Elly, you're no more Queen Elly Højbjerg. You're Gil Messi. That's it. That's your nickname.
Oh no.
So that was Elly's stats and her career. I mean, what a stats! I mean, 146 appearances, 97 goals. That's unreal. If that was a male footballer, Elly, you would have been world famous. And that's the sad thing.
The sad thing, isn't it?
It really is, Elly. It really is. Right. We've got so this is now going to start with this one.
Right.
If it come up. Yeah, here we go. Hang on, just let me bring it up. How did you get noticed by Spurs, Elly? How did you become known to the Spurs women's side?
So it's a little bit of a process, right? So I used to play with the boys, Brian Lampeter, Albert Kinlock, Peter Daly. They'll all remember. If they're watching this, I hope so, because I sent them the link, right? So what we just used to have muckabouts, you know, like proper games as well against older boys in our school, the Drayton School, and then I just had knockabouts, and then when my school teacher, Mr. Merritt, he noticed that I was a really good footballer, and he said, "Would you like to join the boys' team?" And I said, "Is that right? I'm a girl." And he goes, because I was very shy then. I was very, very shy and introverted, right? And I wasn't really keen at first, but then he kept on pushing me. So I joined the boys' team, and I made the Haringey Gazette. Right at that time, they wrote about me, and they've done a little feature on me that I was the only girl who'd made the boys' team in Haringey. So I was playing for the boys' team at my school, Drayton School, and it was the third year I was there. They came. I was nearly 13, I think. Yeah, I was coming on to 12, 13. I can't remember, was it 19? Yeah, it was. I was about 12 and a half, 13, right? And they came twice, actually. Once when I didn't know and they were watching me, and I didn't know until they told me. And once they came and watched me, and they told me that they'll be watching me, right? So I really played well that game. I made sure that all my friends passed to me as well. And I scored a really blinding goal as well, top corner. So they noticed me and they asked me if I'd like to play for Spurs ladies. And I said, of course I would. I'm a big Spurs fan. Obviously, I'm going to say yes. All right. And then it was just all wonderful from there, apart from the training, because the training was so grueling, Dermot. It was like murder. I understand now why some of the players bottle out of training and they say they're ill. Yeah, because we used to do circuit training, weights, running. We used to dribble in between the cones, do shooting practice, penalty practice. But it was so hard, but I put myself through it because I was passionate about Spurs and I wanted to make the grade. And you needed to be fit to last the 80 minutes. We used to play 40 and 40 in those days, but now they play the full 90 minutes. Yeah, so, yeah, I put myself through it because my manager and our coach encouraged us, and they made sure that when we went home, we always looked after our bodies. We ate well, you know, and we looked after ourselves, got enough sleep, you know, and they would always ask us when we came to training, you got enough sleep? You know, because that's important to rest your body, especially when you've played the match and then you do the warm down after the match. Yeah.
So, I mean, Elly, look, another thing, look, you've talked to me and Philip behind the scenes about your playing days and the mischief you got up to under train meeting Spurs, which is a totally after 11 Spurs show. That really is. We've been sworn to secrecy.
Yeah.
Elly, how were you received back in them early days as a Spurs ladies footballer? Did many female supporters come to your games, or was it men? What sort of people were coming to watch your games in the early stages of your career?
Obviously, you had the friends and family and the mums and dads, and then you had loads and loads of women, like young girls, especially, like teenagers, and then you had loads of men as well. But they weren't like 50-year-old men. They were like 25, 30-year-old men. Yeah. But you know what? All the people that came, right? They came because they were intrigued to see the matches, to see what the quality was. And then you'd see the same faces week in, week out. So you knew that you were making impression because they were returning. Like if they came the once and then they disappeared, you were quite disappointed because you would come into the ground, right? Come onto the pitch, sorry, and you'd see a lot of the same faces in the crowd. So that was really heartwarming because you think, right, we've got our own fan base now who are following us and supporting us. And then you have the away supporters as well. Yeah. And when you go away, it was a bit more tougher because the fans, not a lot of them would travel to the away games because of money problems and things like that, you know. But having said that, there was big crowds in the north of England, especially. In the north of England, there was bigger crowds than London because it was bigger. It was bigger in the north of England, the football for women. Yeah. So there
really was a north-south divide, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I think your phone's on, Elly, quickly.
Yeah, I'll turn it off. Because it's going off. Yeah, there you go.
We've got a few questions in the chat from people, Elly.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if you want to look at Dave Clark's what he's put in. See if you want me to bring that up first, just to go through it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to bring it up?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I haven't read it. I haven't seen it on the side. That's what I mean.
Okay. But this is, please get your questions into Elly as well, everyone in the chat. He says, Torkins ladies, I'll let you read this out, Elly, and see what your response is.
Ladies football, Levy not giving Spurs ladies any money. They haven't got a goal scoring in sight, going to be a long season. I would agree with that. I would actually agree with that because we had a lot of play going towards the goal. And then Elly Brazil, our new striker, she actually got injured against Manchester City on the weekend. So we haven't really got any out-and-out goal scorers. Kaya Simon's pretty decent, but she's not prolific. But, you know, the money will help because if we buy a top-class striker to finish off our good work, it will bode well for the season. Yeah. It's the reverse of the men's side because we're very strong defensively. Even though we lost 3-0 to Man City, we were quite strong defensively. And in midfield, we lack a bit. And up front, because that Elly Brazil got injured, she's our new striker. So she's itching to go, you know, and then she gets injured.
Any idea how she's out for, Elly? What was her injury?
According to the club, it could be a 5 to 6 weeker. And she's got like damaged knee, damaged leg down the bottom. Yeah, so it's not very good news. It's going to be at least 5 or 6 weeks, I reckon. Yeah. Maybe longer.
Yeah, and then he also says they have a fullback playing attacking. They have fullbacks playing attacking midfield. It's really looking lackluster. Would you agree with that, or what would you say?
Yeah, I do. There's not much continuity from the back to the middle. Once it gets to the middle, we tend to lose it. The wingers are pretty decent. You know, I think Esther Morgan's not too bad. And Drew Spence, who we got from Chelsea, she looks quite a good prospect. And then we've got Ashley Neville in defence. She's a fullback. She's really good at bringing the ball out. But there's no real player who can put their foot on the ball and pick out a brilliant pass. You know, a creative person in the midfield. Because that makes a big difference, Dermot, as you know, if you've got a creative in there. you know, because I was a creative midfielder, so I was itching to get on actually, but I thought I better stay in my seat. The ball came towards me one time and I wanted to kick it, but I just stayed in my seat. I was polite.
The question I want to ask you, Elly, which of the women's side would you put in the men's side at this very moment? If you could pick a couple of the women's players, who would you put into the men's side?
Right, that's a very good question, Dermot. I would definitely 100% put Ashley Neville in, because she's tenacious, she's tough, she's elegant, she's really good at passing. I'm surprised nobody else has snapped her up. You know, one of the clubs that are competing at the top, but I'm glad that they haven't. And the other one, well, there's two. There's Drew Spence, because she's very nippy. She's new to the team, so I haven't seen much of her play for Spurs, but I saw a lot for Chelsea, so I like her. She's really strong in the tackle. She's a good dribbler with the ball. She didn't show much against Man City. She had a little bit of an off game, but they all had an off game, to tell you the truth. And the other one is Shalina Sadulski, the Canadian girl in defence. Very good. Strong, tall, powerful. Better than Eric Dyer, actually. That's what I would say. But most people are better than Eric Dyer. I'll put her in she's very athletic and she's so good on the ball. She's very good at the ball, and her use of the ball is fantastic as well. But they had an off game against Manchester City, so I'm not judging them by that. Yeah.
David Clark says here also, if I can get it up. Let's see now. Bring this up now. Our centre back captain, but she should be playing in the centre, not on the left side of the defence. Would you agree with that, Elly?
I personally agree with it. Yes, David, you're right, because she's got all the attributes to play that position, right? And I just feel sometimes the manager should identify that quicker, because and also the players have got to speak up as well. If they feel like they'd be better in a position, put them in that, like argue with the manager, put your case across. I used to, because they started me off like I wasn't a defensive midfielder, but I wasn't so attacking. I had to defend a lot more. But then I said to my manager, you know, play me more up front. I can create more picking up the ball and taking it to the attack and picking out passes, because I had vision. Same with Shalina Sadulski. She's got all the athleticism to play that role. You know, I don't know if you've seen her. She's fantastic. A very elegant player as well.
I have. I've been really impressed with her. I mean, Jula here. I hope I got your name right. I am trying, so please. I am trying. She says, Neville for England. Yes. What do you think? Do you know what? Personally, I think she should be picked for England. I think she's a fantastic little player. She puts Doherty and all our ring backs to shame, because she is far better than some of them.
Yeah, do you know what? On the Spurs site as well, I like the way they use the old-fashioned terms for the women. I think they call her the fullback, which is really good. I don't like all this modern football, right wing back, left wing back. I don't like it. I like fullback, right back, left back. You know, that's your position, centre back. Yeah, and then you've got your midfielders, the cam, defensive midfielder, DMs. Yeah, and then you've got your striker, and your striker's like Sonny's the striker assistant, isn't he? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Dave
Clark's put here, but they didn't score last year. I've heard rumours that Jill Scott and another England player was going to sign, but it didn't happen. Yeah,
I know. It's a shame. But we signed Elly Brazil. She's a good signing, you know. It's a shame she got injured, because I was watching her pre-season, because they played over in America as well. They played in Kentucky, I believe. Yeah, Kentucky. And in Louisville. They had a tournament over there. But I just feel, we're lacking a little bit up front. Even with Elly Brazil, I think we need one more really big striker like Man City had. Yeah. And they've got Lauren Hemp as well, who's she's phenomenal. She's amazing player. Amazing.
She really is.
Chloe Kelly's good as well, but Lauren Hemp, she's got the build. She's not massive, but she's got more muscle on her, and she can, when she's running at a player, it's frightening. Yeah.
And he also put his Dave, some great questions, some great comments here for Elly. So please keep them coming in. Everyone get your questions into Elly. Neville is one of the few players who don't get bullied, as well as Spencer. They both score great goals against Leicester. And Elly, if I can add to that, do you think we have the nucleus of a really good Spurs ladies team on the horizon, do you think? Do you think we're on the crest of something really special on the women's side?
Yeah, I do. I just feel that we need to strengthen a little bit more in the midfield and get one more striker. Because Kaya Simon's been on the sidelines this season. She didn't even come on. So I was a bit disappointed in that. I just feel we need more firepower to compete with the top teams, because we got trounced by Arsenal 4-0 and we just sat back. Like the men's team, really. We just sat back and we thought we gave him too much respect. And Rhiannon Skinner, she's not really a defensive coach. She's a bit of a mixed match, you know. So I'm hoping that she gets us on the front foot and actually starts making us attack. Because after the game finished against Leyton Orient, she had them doing circuit training and weight training in front of everybody. And they didn't actually come over to the crowd like they normally do to sign signatures. They just went to the far end to their family just to say hello and, you know, get a pat on the back. And then they went down the tunnel. So I'm thinking Rhiannon Skinner wanted to have a talk with them, because they didn't show their best against Man City. They were quite poor, actually.
Yeah.
But their standard.
Yeah. For what I saw of it, Elly, that they were quite poor. But look, they can bounce back. Yeah. Look, I want to ask you this, Elly. I want to go down another route. How you see the women's game now over the years as you've grown as a player, and since your retirement from the women's game, how you've seen it grown. And with the Lionesses winning the European Championships, and of course the Irish national women's side over here qualifying for the World Cup for the first time, which
well done, the Irish.
I'm over the moon. They've done better than the men's side. It always takes a woman to show how good they can be. How does it make you feel to see the women's game grown as it has over the last year, since the Lionesses won the European Championships?
Oh my God, Dermot, it touches my heart. You know, I really was proud of that English team, and they played some fantastic football. They scored some brilliant goals, and all the games that I watched were a high level in terms of passing, aggression, skill, goals. It had everything, you know. And I see all the national programs over here. I don't know about Ireland, but they were bigging up everybody. And there were certain players that were chosen to go and speak on national television. Like in London, it was Chloe Kelly, because she's a big QPR fan. And as you know, my husband's a QPR fan, so I've got her to sign for my husband. She was the one lady who came over, but she's a Manchester City player, you see. But I'm so proud of them that they've progressed the game so well that people are starting to take notice, and the attendances as well. 75,000, you know, and then at Spurs, Arsenal Spurs, 47,000, nearly 48,000 attended. The last time we played Arsenal at White Hart Lane, I think it was either 36 or 38,000, if I remember. I think it was either 36 or 38. Yeah. So big attendances are coming in. Loads of money's flooding in, right? So I want this money to be used wisely to grow the game at grassroots, so that we can feed the chain. You're feeding the chain so that you don't run out of girls who are going to make that grade, you know. And do you know what? I'm thinking of starting my own soccer school. right? So I was thinking of it from years back, right? But I didn't do it because I've had other commitments and that. But now I'm more of a free agent, and I'm coming up to 60 next month. I've got more time on my hand, and I can get a younger coach to do all this circuit training and that. You know, I'll be the voice.
Yeah, you like become the Bill Nick of the Spurs women's side.
Yeah,
I'll
be the one with all the quotes.
Yeah. You do come up with some good quotes, Elly. I'll give you that. Right.
I do.
You do. Dave
I'm not picking myself up at all, yeah.
Look, this is your show, and big yourself up as much as you want. I think you're a legend yourself. I think you're a Spurs legend, and Tottenham should treat you and the early women that started Spurs women should be treated with more respect than they do. But that's something we will get into.
And women were playing football in the 1800s as well, Dermot. They were actually playing the same time as men. So it's not a new thing that women played football. So it's great that it's elevated itself. And I hold my hand on my heart. I'm so proud that the game's developing in such a way that I can look at it and think, a man's watching it and he's going to enjoy it. It doesn't matter to me if he's male or female, but it matters to me that men are standing up and watching it and going to the matches, you know, because they're actually enjoying it as well. And they actually, when they're interviewed at the grounds, it's fabulous what they say. Because I never had that in my day.
No, and I think the likes of Sky getting behind it and the BBC, I think the BBC were the first to show the Women's FA Cup back in the day, back in the 90s.
Yeah, they were.
Every Bank Holiday Monday they showed it. I think in May. They showed that. I remember that as a kid growing up, and then with Sky getting involved, with RTE showing the whole of the Women's European Championships over here. It's great. Dave Clark touches on another point, and I've got my opinion on this, and I know you have your opinion, Elly, and I think it's both the same. It says the women I want to praise these women international referees. I think they have been brilliant. I was watching the Brighton game. We were away to Brighton. And I never noticed until half-time that one of the linesmen was a woman. She done a far better job than most of them men referees and linesmen have done all season. And I think it's great. I think more women should be brought into referee games. I think they're more level-headed than some of the numpties we've had this season, to be fair. That's a whole name. No, but that's a different context.
That's a whole different show completely.
Elly, with women's football on the rise, with women now getting into refereeing and linesmen, do you feel that you went through a ceiling yourself, but people are standing on your shoulders to go through other ceilings that they've broken through, but they're doing it from your foundations, what you and you rest of your ladies that started, that were part of the founding members of the ladies team. Do you feel the standing on your shoulders what you did back in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, like we drew inspiration from ladies we knew who were in the game, because we used to follow, right? As lady footballers, we used to know who was playing for other teams, right? But they weren't famous. Nobody would know their names, right? There was one lady down even my road who was the cousin of Laurie Cunningham, and she played football, right? And we used to knock around the ball. We didn't even know she was Laurie Cunningham's cousin, right? So, there was other people that were in the game who were women, who were inspirations to us. Even my headmaster, Mrs. Marmot, she encouraged girls to play football because she was very into equality, right? Which was a good standing at our school. My school was marvellous, by the way. They were fabulous. But then when we went away, we saw a different side, the flip side, with men and women, both men and women, shouting all sorts of obscenities at us, you know, calling us all sorts of names, telling us where we should be. Yeah, and like you're 13, 14, 15-year-old kid and you're hearing this. I used to go home with my dad because he'd take me to the matches, and it used to affect me. But as the years went on, I grew a thicker skin, And you mature, Dermot. You mature, so you get more capable of dealing with things. I think you deal with things more as an adult. When you get to 17, 18, 19, you should have more whereabouts you by then, right? So so I took it to heart, and I wish I was like I am now, because I've got a very, very thick skin now. If anybody says anything detrimental, even if I go over the park with a young boy that I'm training at the moment called Fenton, right, and I was taking him to a soccer school to learn his trade because he's a defender, I practice with him over the park, right? If I get anybody saying anything to me in particular, like, what are you doing with a young boy? Like, you know what I mean? And they'll shout obscenities at you. I can deal with it. But in those years, I couldn't. And I used to cry myself to sleep sometimes, literally. Right. And then my dad would comfort me and my mum would comfort me, and they'd pick me up so that when I went out again, I was a bit stronger. Every time you go out, you get a little bit stronger, you know, and you can handle yourself.
Yeah. Do you feel society has changed, Elly, over the time, over when you started your career to when you finished in the 80s to now? Do you feel society toward the women's game has changed for the better or for the worst?
I personally think for the better, but there's still prejudices. There's a lot of black players in the game as well that have come out and spoken about the prejudices against them, you know, trying to make the grade. They weren't looked upon as good enough because of their colour, you know, so there's still that. And that's within the last 2 or 3 years, Dermot. It's not like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And there's other people that are coming out of the woodwork who are saying they were abused and things like that. It happens in the men's and the women's game. There's no differentiation. All I can say is there's so many organisations now, and there's so much media attention that anything that goes on like that is picked up straight away, and the authorities will stamp down hard. Maybe not as hard as they should do at times, you know, because especially there's things that have happened in the men's game. I remember when England played Hungary and the black players were getting abused, and it was all over the press. But they played Hungary the other day, and they lost 4-0 to them. You see, so I would boycott that country myself and teach them a lesson, not play them, right? And until they can show us that if we go to play in their country, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you know, stamp it out. Make a stand like that.
Yeah, with all the news that came out for the women's internationals, with everything that went on in the past, do you feel, Elly, that the Football Association, the Women's Premier League, have a duty to look after these younger the younger players, the girls that are now coming through the system and coming through, and the clubs? Do they have a duty to protect these young women from social media, from the abuse they will probably get from some idiotic fans? Do the clubs have, and does the Women's FA, does the Women's Premier League, do the clubs have do they have a responsibility to look after these younger players?
Yeah, it's not just it's players, supporters, mums and dads get abuse as well, right? I mean, on you know, Her Game Too, right? There's a lady, I won't mention her name, but she got abused on Twitter, and the guy who was abusing her just said to her, "Why don't you get back in the kitchen? That's where women should be," right? So she's only a young girl, this girl, and she was fighting her corner on Twitter, but she needed some help. So she draws help from Her Game Too, who give her advice. She's a member of the organisation anyway, and they gave her advice, and they dealt with it in a nice way so that it doesn't escalate. And the guy that did it, he should be ashamed of himself. That's all I say. Should be ashamed of himself to do that to a young girl. If he's doing it to me, I can handle myself. To a young girl, not fair.
No,
It's
I
not
mean,
fair
Elly,
for both of us. It's not fair
no.
for both of us. But when
Mm,
you're young and the social media is so heightened now, it's
mm,
everywhere. You say one little thing and it will be splashed right round the world.
yeah.
See?
I've got my own opinions, and you know my opinions on Twitter and YouTube
Yeah,
and Facebook, that there
I
should be
do.
better guidelines and better, that the companies need to do more than what they're doing.
They
Look,
should do.
personally,
Yeah,
my
I
own
agree.
opinion on it all. Look, I think anyone has a right to play football. I don't care if you're white, black, man, woman, or you've come from
Yeah,
Mars, or
yeah,
you're an alien. You have a right to play the game as anybody
that's
else
right.
has.
It's the love
Look,
of the game, isn't it, Dermot? You love the game.
you love the game. Look, you and me did a show together with Philip Elly because we love
Yeah,
Tottenham Hotspur.
yeah, we
You
do.
have more
With all
knowledge.
our heart.
You have more knowledge and more knowledge about the game as the same as me, more than me, and more than Philip. You know, and I think it's great that the women's game at the moment is getting the recognition it deserves, because it does deserve recognition. It
Yeah,
deserves it deserves respect, and I think the clubs, and I think the Women Premier League, I think the FA have a responsibility to look after these young girls coming through the system, and coaches and women managers. And why can't a woman manager manage a Premier League side? It
that's
should.
right.
Do you know
I know.
why? I mean, that Chelsea manager, I don't know what her name is. She's been very successful for the women's side. Why was she not interviewed for the men's side? You know, it's equal opportunity for everyone. If they're
Yeah,
promoting that on taking the knee for against racism, then
yeah.
why can't the game get together and say, look, it's equal opportunities for all? What do you think the game needs to
I,
do, Elly, to keep this going, and to keep this in the media, and to keep this in the people's interest, that the women's game
yeah.
deserves the same opportunity as the men's game?
Well, first of all, you've got your dinosaurs, the sexist
Hmm.
people that will never ever give women anything,
Yeah.
and that in all walks of life, not just football. That's in business. It's everywhere. If you've
Mm,
got sexist people, male or female, because it can, because it could be a woman being
mm,
sexist against men and not
mm.
giving them the right opportunities. So we
Yeah.
want equality across the board. And
Mm,
in sport, especially because we're interested in football, that's our sport, right? There are barriers that are there, like
mm,
the FA, the Football League, they've got their structures, haven't they? And
mm.
they're very rigid. It's quite an archaic way of running our
Mm.
Football League in our FA. They're quite archaic.
Yeah.
And you saw even when Harry Redknapp wanted to become England manager and the
Mm,
rhetoric that went with it. And he's a male. Imagine if
mm.
a female wanted to go for that job.
I know.
All the
I know.
rhetoric and all the
Mm,
prejudices and everything, all the
mm,
sexism, because they're going to say, well, what, a woman? No, that's their attitude. So we've got
mm,
to change attitudes as well. And
mm,
the women that are doing well in the women's game, why can't they do well in the men's game? It's the same thing.
mm.
Tactics are tactics, male or female. You
Yeah.
can run a team, motivating a team, being
Mm,
their mentor, being their mum, their dad, having an ear, putting your arm around the player
mm,
when they've not had a good game. Anyone can do that, male or
mm,
female. Yeah. It's
mm,
a manager's job
mm,
is something that a man and woman can do, right?
mm.
But there's these barriers, like I said, that have got to be broken down.
Yeah.
Just like in politics, there's so many things that are going on. There's barriers,
Mm.
like the Conservatives with the Labour Party when the great German
Yeah.
Wall came down to
We
Berlin.
won't go into that bit, Ellie, but I know we're
But
trying to get that.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying is,
Mm,
there's lots of barriers in the world that
mm,
stop women and men
mm.
doing things.
I,
You know,
I mean, Ellie,
we've got to break
you look
down these
at,
barriers.
yeah. I mean, I love Formula One as much as I love my
Yeah,
football. That's
Yeah,
another
I know
sport
that.
that
When I
that
went
that
to Monte Carlo, isn't it?
yeah, that's another sport that now's promoting women. There's women engineers. There's women
Yeah,
top engineers. There's women working in the pits on the cars,
yeah,
mechanics. There's women
yeah,
doing the pit stops. They've got a women. They're trying to get women into Formula One. So there's a women's W racing league which will be starting again next season. You
yeah,
look at golf, the women in that. You look at women's boxing. Had it on Sky, a full woman's card on Sky last
yeah,
Saturday. That drew a
yeah,
big crowd watching it. Katie
yeah.
Taylor, our very own Katie Taylor, a quadruple world champion at one level. I mean, she's won
Mm.
every belt. She's undefeated.
Wow,
Olympic champion
lovely.
2012.
Big up,
So,
Katie Taylor.
so there's other sports where women are given the chance to get promoted, to get up in their to get up in their profession. You had
Yeah,
what's her name, Brady, who was the first female chairman of. She's now
Karen
like
Brady.
Karen Brady, I
Karen
think, of
Brady, yeah,
Birmingham City. She was working for West Ham, but she was the first chairman
yeah,
woman in the boardroom back in the 90s for Birmingham City.
yeah,
So look, if women can do the job, there's top of successful women business owners, multi-billionaires. You've got
yeah,
women as prime ministers around the
yeah,
country or presidents around the world. Women
yeah.
can do the same job as men. Where do you feel on the football side, Elly, that do you feel football still in some way or form still got full, especially with the FA, stuffy old men that
Yeah,
still live in the past?
yeah. It's like I said, it's archaic. It's like
Mm.
they don't want to move on. They don't want to change anything, right? So we've got now the England team have won the Euros. You'd think something would change.
Mm.
Like you're getting lady referees at the World Cup.
Mm.
You're getting lady linesmen.
Mm.
There's so many things that women can do and offer, right? When they're not
Mm.
asking for anything different, they're just asking for equality.
Yeah.
That's why movements like Her Game Too have started, and other movements have started to help women get to these positions because they
Mm.
deserve to be there, not because they're a woman. They deserve it on merit. Yeah,
Yeah. For me, Elly, it's if you're good enough, you should do that job. I don't care if you're a man,
yeah,
woman, black or white.
yeah,
If you're good enough and you're well qualified for the job, you should do it. And football really needs to take its head out of the sand in some respects for the
yeah.
women's side.
I agree.
And this is where I say big up to Sky for showing the Sky matches, for showing
Yeah,
the women's game and thing. Elly, look,
yeah,
we are going to go into Her Game Too. That's something we will be going into in a while. But
yeah.
look, I want to take you back down memory lane, all right,
Oh,
and
yeah,
take you back and educate people on why Elly is a Spurs legend and why she means so much to me as a Spurs legend, and I think she's brilliant. To the formation of the Spurs, and maybe Elly can fill in the blanks for us. How the team become together? So we're going to start here.
yeah,
Now, Elly, they were formed in 1985, 37,
yeah,
1985, as
yeah.
Broxbourne ladies.
Yeah.
Can you remember the first time how that club was set up, and were you part of it? And what do you remember around that time?
I wasn't part of it because I'd retired and I was
Mm.
at Enfield Rangers coaching at the time. Because like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I had so many injuries I couldn't play on,
Yeah.
but I wanted to stay in the game. But I used to go and watch the matches
Mm.
occasionally, not all the time. I used to watch occasional games when they were in my local area as well. Because I'm only in Enfield at that
Mm.
time, so actually I was Tottenham the first year. The second year,
Mm.
that's when I moved to Enfield when I had
Yeah.
Angela in
Mm.
1985. The end of 1985, that's when I started going to their matches. And yeah, they were pretty good. They were pretty good, but they wanted to become affiliated with the club,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of it spilled over from what we were doing, you
Yeah.
know, and none of our players went into the Broxbourne ladies. We just dispelled because we were all getting older. We all had our injuries. We all got married, and there's other things that took over. So this Broxbourne ladies was started by Kay Lovelock and Sue Sharples, who we lost quite recently.
Hang on, I'm just bringing that up now. Hang on. Please come. There we go. It's coming up now.
Kay Lovelock's still alive. She works at the Spurs ground. She used to be in the ticket office last year, but now she's gone in. She's been promoted, which is no surprise because she's a very strong woman. No, she's lovely. She always sorts me out tickets as well, which is brilliant. But Sue Sharples, we lost her. I didn't really get to know her that well, but what I knew of her, very lovely lady, very, very lovely lady. But Kay, she's in the top administration of the club now. So, so they've done a fantastic job bringing those ladies forward to Tottenham Hotspur ladies. So, and then they worked tirelessly to get the association that we didn't manage to do, and get affiliated with the club. And then the club started letting them use the training ground. Not all like always, but they did let them use it. And then they started getting into the programme and then, doing lots more things with the club, getting advertised, that sort of thing. And then the game started getting more high profile. So, they were taking off. Just put it that way. Yeah. They were behind Arsenal still in terms of stature, but they're catching up now. Even though we lost 4-0 to them, we've had really good games with them in recent years. Especially last year when I went to the Hive and we drew 1-1. We was 1-0 up with a few minutes left. So it's a work in progress now. Now Rhiannon Skinner's in charge. She comes with a very, very top pedigree as a very pragmatic coach, but she's also got the flair side to her as well. So that's what I think she was bit disappointed in the team's performance against Man City. I could see it in her face when she was getting interviewed. Because she knows her team can play a lot better.
But big up the Irish Shots, but I can't find your message in the message, Dave. Could you put it in again? If you can't put it, if you could put it in again, I would be grateful because I can't find it. For some reason, it hasn't come up, and maybe I've missed it.
Thank you for joining us, David. Well, the two Davids have joined us now, David Clark and David Harris. Woo!
So, Dave, you can put your question in again or your message for Elly. Please put it in again because I can't see it unless you sent it on WhatsApp or wherever. Please do. I don't know where it is. But we will, as soon as you send it in, we'll read it out straight away. I've never missed a message. So that really bugs me if I miss one.
I'll have a look
so we're
WhatsApp as well.
So the permission then, Elly, in the 91-92 season, the permission was obtained to change the club's name to Tottenham Hotspur Ladies FC. In the
so see, it took them 6 years to do it, but they eventually did it. Which I was really chuffed about.
What do you remember of that time, Elly, of them changing the name, and how did it make you feel? Did you feel, we've done something here?
It made me feel honoured because I thought, right, we were the first ladies who played under the name of Spurs Ladies, and we've worked tirelessly to get the club to notice us. But it was just falling on deaf ears. Well, our manager said it wasn't falling on deaf ears. That's the wrong thing. It was just that they were a bit dinosaur-y, just put it that way. Right, but then when the club finally buckled, and you see the season that it happened was when Terry Venables was in charge. And he's noted for being an advocate of the women's game. He was always championing the women's game. If you look at the book, he's got his biography, right? He's always been interested in the women's game. So it wasn't no surprise that was the year that Spurs got affiliated, the ladies got affiliated to the main club. And I just felt, I felt special. It hits your heart because you think, but I was playing for Spurs Ladies and now they've actually finally got recognition from the club, and they start moving up. And now Now, when it's 2022, they've got very good standing, and they even let them go into the training ground. They train there. They mix with the male players. They do photo shoots with them, you know, and they've got their own FIFA cards that were delivered to the ground. I don't know if you saw that, Dermot. The box FIFA cards with all their player ratings. It's fantastic. You know, it's brilliant, you know, and then you can play FIFA with the girls, because FIFA are bringing out the games now with all the girls, because it's going to a new level now. It's going to a higher level, and the football that's played is going to a higher level. Yeah, because they're watching the girls' nutrition, training, their mentality. They've got coaches to sort out their mental state as well, you know, mentors. They've got people that are sports scientists that are looking after their muscles, and you know, it's become very big, the women's game. But obviously, the grassroots hasn't. The grassroots is still raw, so we have to build that side, you know, and pump money into the grassroots. So if there's any big investors out there as well, I urge you to pump money into the girls' teams, because they deserve it. They deserve it.
They do. Dave, look, if you're still watching, man, I've sent you a message on WhatsApp. Can you resend? I cannot see it anywhere in the chat. I've been through everywhere. So can you send that again? Because that is now going to bug me a little bit. that I don't know if you can see it, Ellie, because I can't. Well, look, I'll go through some of what they won over the years. They're on this list. The women's side, Ellie, they have been quite successful, more than the men's side.
They got promoted as well, which is good.
Yeah. They were the FA's Women Premier League Champions Playoff winners 2017.
Yeah.
They were also the all right, Dave sent it right. Okay. It just didn't come through. That's why it it just I'm having problems. My PC's running a bit slow. I apologize. I'm just getting it up now. I've just seen it now.
That's all right, better slow than never. That's what I say.
I've got it. I've got it right here. I've read it here. He says, big up, Elly. Big up, Elly. Absolutely love what you're doing. A pioneer for the ladies and a true inspiration. What I love most about you, always do it with a smile and laughing. And I mean, look,
you've got to be happy.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't come up on here. I do apologize, Dave. I'm really sorry. For some reason, it didn't come up. But look, I've got it here. So thank you for sending me a screenshot. And Elly, what do you say to Dave? Any message you'd like to send back to Dave?
Yeah, I would say he's been my inspiration as well, because he's had these trials and tribulations setting up his chat on Irish Hotspur, and he had these confidence issues. But you know what? He's come through it like a shining light, and he's been an inspiration to us all, because he's had to face a lot of people that are putting him down, and he's come through it, and he's been strong, and he's stuck by his morals, and he's spoken his mind, and he really is a real person. You know, there's people on YouTube as well. Some of them, you watch them and you think, no, you don't really mean that. But when Dave talks, he talks from his heart. Yeah. And you really buy into what he's saying. He's such a real warm gentleman, on and off. When you speak to him off screen as well, fabulous man. Yeah. And he's got the biggest heart, and he'll listen to you. He'll listen to your problems. He'll tell you what's on his mind, and you help each other. That's what communities do.
Yeah.
But he's become a very good friend of you and I, Dermot. So,
look,
and he gives us inspiration as well.
I echo everything you say, Elly. Look, yeah. I want to say something about Dave Harris here. That man is like a younger brother to me, and like he is to you, Elly. But that man has seen. He puts everyone first before himself.
He does.
He's an inspiration. He inspires people. He if he's there, if you need help, he's there. That man is one of the nicest men you will ever want to meet. You know, and for us, Elly, I mean, I echo everything you say about him. For me, we both love him dearly, and he is one that this gentleman and legend is put around a lot these days.
Yeah,
and I think too many people. And for me, David Harris is a proper Irish gentleman and a legend to boot as well, because we all have our trials and we all have our tribulations, we all have our problems, but we're a tight knit group. And you know yourself, Elly, as well as I do. There's only a few of us in this group, and David's the leading light of the whole lot. David's the man we follow. So look, everyone, please get over to the Irish Hotspur, hit a like on this subscription, hit the like button, hit the subscription button, but show him a lot of love. And also for Jack and Nikki as well. The pair of them do fantastic on their channel.
That's fabulous.
And if it wasn't for them two, Elly, me would not be here doing this.
When I first saw him on We Are Tottenham TV, I knew instantly that I would love watching him, because he's got such wit. And now I know him as the man, David Harris the man, not David Harris the YouTuber, right? He's so generous. He gives so many good tips about how to grow your channel. He gives you good tips about getting more sleep as well. He gives you good tips about, you know, just general things about the way you're presenting your show, how to help you. There's so many things that he helps you with. Like one time he said to me, keep on looking what's current on Spurs news. Pick out stories and post them, Elly, on YouTube and Twitter and on Instagram to keep your fans alive, to keep them interested in your channel. And you'll see your channel will grow, because other people will tell other people who tell other people, and your channel will grow. See, something like that, I've never had anybody else in the community help me as much as David Harris. And I know for a fact that you have 2-hour conversations with him.
Look, when me and Dave start talking, we can talk forever. But that's just Irish people to once we get going, there's no stopping us.
That's right.
But look, I have the utmost respect for the man. I admire him greatly. And
he's in our heart, isn't he? He's in our heart.
Personally, for me, he's the younger brother I never had, and he's always there, and he's the inspiration for what we do on this channel, and for whatever lies ahead on our channel journey, we will be forever in his debt, and his channel is always the mothership to Thfc. Look, I can go. We can do a whole stream about praising.
We could do a whole show on David Harris. Right, I said to him one last week, I think it was, or the week before. I said to him, David, I've got 7 brothers. Everybody knows this by now because I've said it so many times. 7 brothers, but you're my 8th brother. You're my you're indoctrinated into my family. And when I come over to Ireland, I've met him before, obviously, at the West Ham game and the Wolves game, but it's going to be special when I come for my 60th birthday over to Ireland to meet you all again. So, I'm so looking forward to that. It's going to be like, I'm going to be like in heaven when I'm in Ireland.
By the way, I'm going to pick you, missus. Right? If Dave and Jack are 89, where do I come in this brother list? Am I somewhere down the road?
Yeah. The thing is, you're a bit older than Dave, right? So you could be my you're going to be my godfather, right?
I'm on the bench.
You're my godfather. You're gonna baptize me for the 2nd time.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God. Or you could be my 9th brother, but it's like I've nearly got the football team now. I need 2 more. We'll put Jack as my 10th. So I've got 10 brothers now. Oh yeah, and Philip is my 11th. He can join my brother Louis, the eldest.
All right, and we've got Dave here. We'll go back. We've got other comments. Dave says David and Carl greatly appreciate David and Carl greatly appreciate it, guys. Sorry, Elly, can you read that out?
Yeah, I'll read it out. David and Carl greatly appreciate it, guys. You're too kind, but the love works both ways. It's mutual.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got much love.
And I'm going to end it there. Say, we got your back, Jack. Right.
Yeah.
He knows what I mean by that.
We have got your back, Jack.
Carl Simpson says David respects everyone's opinion and is more than happy to discuss it. David, you are a top bloke, mate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree with that. David Clark's put here, what I like about Dave Harris is that he gives an opinion. It may differ from mine, but you can see there's no ulterior motive. And that's one thing I like about Mr. Harris, Dave, is he stuck to his principles.
Yeah.
And he sticks. But there's no alternative motive with Dave. He just tells you how he sees it.
Yeah.
Do you know? I mean, me and Dave could, if we're on the show, we talk in the background, and I can say to Dave, I want to do this, and quickly say, I don't think so. And when he speaks, you listen. He's got the aura, Elly. Do you know when people walk into a room and you look around?
Yeah.
That's
he's got an aura. Yeah.
He's got that
presence. Stand up and listen.
You know, but it's like when Muhammad Ali or George Best or say Ginola or one of them players walk in, you know greatness has walked in.
Yeah.
But if you have done that, Dave has that in abundance. If him or Jack walk in, or especially Dave walks into a room, you know greatness has walked in. He has that presence. He has that aura.
Yeah. And another thing he does, when somebody attacks the person in a stream, in the chat, he will always tell that person, he won't block them, he'll just tell them, no, we don't accept that here, right? And he'll let them have a chance to redeem themselves, which is a very good quality, because some people will just block them, right? Just block them out the stream. They don't give them a chance to see the errors of their ways by attacking the person, not the argument. Yeah, so he's very good at doing that, David, and he does it in such a diplomatic way that he doesn't abuse the person who's being the abuser. You know,
I do stick by. He's got that aura. He's got that presence. It's hard to describe because us Irish have a unique way. We have a unique aura anyway.
Yeah.
But with Dave, I mean, Dave knows I live in the best county in Ireland, and he knows he's number 2 county. But this is just a private joke between me and Dave, so it's okay. I'm not being, but he does have the aura, Elly. He has that. Walks into a room, you know you're in the room of greatness. And for what he's done, his channel is fantastic. It's the best on YouTube. So please, I urge everyone get over there and show Dave. And he also puts in Elly Hoybier and Dermatron. You know my feelings. My feelings on you guys. You really are infectious. Well, Dave, you're too kind, man. And I don't know. I don't like taking compliments very well, but thank you. It means, and you mean you mean a lot to us both. So, thank you. Carl Simpson here. Elly is Elly and Dermot are our Chaz and Dave.
Yes,
I'm Chaz. You can be Dave.
I'm going to be the dead one. Do you know what? I wanted to say something more about David. Right, when the first time I met him was at the Wolves match, and we were in the pub, and Sean Butler was there. You were there, but you were sitting over the far side.
That game.
I know. I'm not going to mention the match. I have to say the Wolves match. But I was looking at David, right, and I was thinking, I want to go over and talk to him, but he's like got so many people around him because it's like a magnet. You know, everybody's interested in what he's got to say, right? So I wanted to get a word in edgeways, but I just couldn't. And I was like about 3 meters away from him only, and I was staring at him, and I was thinking, that's the Irish Hotspur.
Yeah.
But I didn't even call him David. I was going, that's the Irish Hotspur. And then when I walked to the bar with Sean Butler, because he goes, come on, Elly, I'll buy you a drink. What do you want? I said, the Guinness, obviously. Yeah. Right, with a black currant top. And he goes to me, it's strange, isn't it, meeting David Harris? And I said, what do you mean, the Irish Hotspur? I wouldn't call him David Harris.
I tell you a funny story.
I was such in awe of him.
I'll tell you a funny story, Ellie. When we went over to that game, it's the first time I met Dave was at the airport.
Yeah.
And I was nervous as hell. It's not like you're meeting somebody like your mate down the pub or your mate. I'm meeting like there was somebody famous, right?
It's like royalty.
I met Philip Brady first, right? And it was like,
my God.
That was nervy enough. Next thing when I say about presence, that's what I mean. He was walking behind me. Yeah. And I could feel the presence of him coming. I thought, that's the Irish husband. And it takes you a while to get your head round. It's Dave. Yeah. It's the Irish husband. I'm quite happy to be called Chaz and Dave, but Ellie, we're going to have to sing Rabbit and Getcha, and Spurs are on the way to Wembley if they ever get there. Right. Me and Ellie would have our great hits out for Christmas. All the songs you love to hear. Spurs are on the way to Wembley.
The match of the day theme.
Yeah, and also we're breaking it now. We will get back to the ladies, so we got really sidetracked. Me and Ellie are doing a live stream from an Irish pub when she comes over to Dublin, so that will be coming out live as well.
I can't wait. So my daughters are booking it at this moment, right? Because Sophia phoned me up earlier today, and she goes, "Mum, I hear you want to go to Dublin," because she went with her fiance before he was her fiance, and they had the wonderful time. So I said I want to go for 3 or 4 days, but then they've extended it. So I've got a lot of time to spend with you guys. Even if I just spend one night with you, it'll be like a magical night, you know. Yeah. I'll be it's made in heaven.
They saw heads the next day, believe me. Once we show you a proper.
I'm gonna have a hangover, obviously. Yeah. I'm a lightweight when it comes to drink. So you better be careful not to give me too much drink.
I said to my other half the other night, I said we'll be all dancing on tables by the end of the night or something along that route. But anyway, let's get back to the women.
Let's get back to the women. Yeah.
We've done that. Of course, they won the Premier League Southern Division winners in 2016-2017, Ellie.
Lovely.
They were the London and South East Regional Women's Football League Premier League Division winners 2007.
Changed names slightly. They called it the London, the Greater London Regional. They just changed name. It's what we won, but they just changed the name of the title.
They won it in 97-98.
Yeah.
They also won the London County Senior Cup winners in 2011-2012.
Cool.
They won. I tell you one thing, it's proved that I'm going to say something in a minute, and I hope this is not disrespectful, but the women's side seem to have more success under Sugar and Evie sort of consistently here. There's a theme. There is a theme.
Without no money. It just shows you don't need money to be successful then.
It just shows you, can you not just put out the women's team on the weekend? They might actually do a better job than some of the men's team we've got at the moment. They were the Great London Regional Women's League Cup winners in 95-96.
Yeah.
They were the, hang on, let me get this up. They were the FA Women's Premier League Cup winners 2016-2017. This is the season they've done the treble. They've done the double once and the treble once.
Yeah. So they're doing very, very well.
And then it brings us on.
They beat Leicester in the League Cup this year as well. Yeah. So they're already on their way.
They're second in their group, aren't they, Ellie? I think in that League Cup group.
Yeah. They're second.
Dave says dates and times will be there, Ellie. Dinner is on me. No, dinner's on me, Dave. All right, dinner's on me. I'm paying for that one.
We'll have to go for a Ruby Murray.
My other half said there's a lovely she knows Dublin quite well, and she said there's a lovely Chinese.
I love Chinese. I love Chinese and I love Indian food and I love Italian food. Anywhere you take me, I'll be grateful.
There's an 80s, like an 80s sort of theme bar where they sell cocktails quite cheap. So we end up there.
I love the Irish pubs because when Sophia went, she went to a lot of pubs. And she videoed, and like they were doing karaoke, they were doing shindigs, Irish dancing, everything. It was marvellous.
We are going to see
that video.
Yeah, we're going to go and see Philip Brady do his Ringo Starr
Yeah,
impression.
definitely.
Philip,
I've got to see
Philip,
him do his drumming.
yeah. Philip knows. I know Philip has the sex symbol for the over 70s for the bingo, and Philip knows. I have called him that, so Philip knows. You know, that's what he does on a Wednesday, and then on the Tuesday he's the Ringo Starr. Who's the drummer for Queen?
The drummer of Queen. What's his name?
Roger Taylor.
Roger Taylor. He's the blonde dead guy, isn't he? Yeah.
That's Philip as well. Elly, Women's Super League. It runs from the 18th of September 2022 to 23. Elly, this is their league so far. Do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah. So, what does that say? Played 2, won 1, drawn 0, lost 1.
Yeah.
Drawn none, lost 1.
I'm just gonna.
That was from last week. You've got to add this week's one as well, because they've actually played. They've actually played 4 games in total. 1 in the League Cup. They haven't. They've played 1. They've won 2. 1 in the League Cup, 1 in the league. Then they've won another 1 in the league because they've got 6 points.
Yeah, they've won 2 in the league. The
total
is
in the League Cup against Leicester, and they lost to Arsenal and Manchester City so far. Yeah, and the game against Manchester United, their opening game was postponed, and it's to be advised.
I'm going to get this up here now. I'm going to get the fixtures up for you now, Elly, for the season.
So they're playing Brighton away next on the 30th of October, and then on the 6th of November, which is the same day as the Liverpool game. So I'm going to watch that game and then get an Uber to White Hart Lane from Leyton Orient, because I'm not going by train because they will lip me down.
So who they're playing next, Elly?
The next game is Brighton away.
Yeah.
And then the next game after that is Everton at home, and we're playing at Brisbane Road. Yeah. And then the big games, which are against Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, they will be at White Hart Lane, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's the fixtures, Elly. I'll just go up through. Look, I want you to talk about some of the players as well.
No problem.
There's the transfers we've had in, Elly, this season. 20th of June, with Drew Spence come in from Chelsea on a free. And then Elly Brazil.
Got another Elly playing, and Brazil is her surname. That's brilliant. Yeah, she's the girl.
Is she?
Not that I know of, but I'll research it. Not that I've not heard anything about that, but I will research it, because she's an English girl. So Alan Brazil's Scottish, isn't he?
Yeah,
but it could still be related. Yeah,
Alan Brazil played for us actually back in the early 80s. Great play for Ipswich in his day, and the Scottish international, played in the 82 World Cup as well. We've got the German we got from Villa, Elly. What do you know about her?
Not very much at the moment, I must admit. I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about her. But as I'm going along, I knew from last season, watching the girls, I went to 3 matches last season. I tried to get to more, but I just couldn't because of other commitments. But this year, I'm going to be going to about 90% of the matches, home and away. So as I'm their ambassador, well, soon to become, I've actually been nominated. It's just the paperwork has to be accepted. That's all. It's all sort of signed, sealed, and delivered. But I just got to sign a few disclaimers, right? So the ones I do know about: Amy Turner, very, very good player. Celine Bissett, I can't pronounce the surname, but she's a very good striker. But she tends to go. She sort of plays as a winger. Forward winger, so she has a different role. We got Elly Brazil to play the main role. She was a central striker. She's been playing more on the wing as a forward, a bit like Kulu does. She joins the attack, and she's very skillful, very fast, very tenacious, tracks back a lot. What I saw of her at Manchester City, for working really hard, and I can see that it was really disappointing. I saw her face at the end, and she looked really disappointed that they'd lost. Which I like. I like when a player comes off the pitch and they, you know, they feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to pick up on Elly Brazil, Gary Brazil is her father. He's an ex-professional footballer, played for the likes of Sheffield United, Port Vale, Preston North End, Newcastle United, Fulham, Cambridge, Barnet and Slough. He's also been a manager for Notts County, all as caretaker. So that's who her father is. Gary Nicholas Brazil. So that's Elly Brazil's father. So nothing to do with Alan Brazil, which I'm actually quite now disappointed because I quite like Alan Brazil. I think he's quite fun.
He's good on Talk Sport, isn't he? Is it Talk Sport or
yeah?
He's on Talk Sport, isn't he? And he's on the other radio show as well, isn't he? Yeah.
So Elly, we've got some of their players here. They're going through the whole team here.
Yeah.
Elly, what do you hang on? Let me get down to their pre-season.
Goalie. The Norwegian goalie, she was in goal for the Arsenal game last season at the Hive. She was fabulous. She's not that tall either, but she's very athletic.
No. Elly, is there anyone in the Women's League that people need to look out for if they're watching it for the first time? Which teams would you reckon are the main teams to look out for? Of course, apart from Tottenham, who are probably the best team in the Women's League anyway.
Manchester City looked very impressive. Manchester City looked very impressive. Aston Villa, not a bad footballing side. Got very good players. Liverpool are up and coming. They're not quite the finished article yet. They're quite weak in defence as well, which is unusual for a Liverpool side. But Arsenal and Chelsea are the standouts. And following them shortly behind is Manchester United. But Arsenal and Chelsea have sort of cornered the market in terms of the ladies' game. I mean, if you look at their honours, they're like supreme. Right, and Chelsea will always do well because they've got good backing from the club as well, and they pick up a lot of players from abroad. I just feel we're nearly there. We just need a little bit more firepower up front, like David Clark said. We've got the new lady. I can't pronounce her name, but she's Polish. Kazuska. Not bad, but maybe not as physical. She needs to be a little bit more physical. That's all. You know, get stuck in there and make herself available a bit more. You know, make a bit more clever runs. You know, but Rhian Skinner, she's got a lot of work to do in terms of getting them up to that standard. You know, but when you think about it, last year she's only come in, so she needs time, just like Antonio Conte needs time. She needs time to stamp her authority on the girls and get them playing with more intensity, more pressing, you know, and then get a few more flair players in January. And then hopefully build on that because,
Hopefully. Just go through your comments here, Elly, and then I want to end on her game too, and I've got a question for you on that. So if we go through, Carl Simpson says Roger Taylor. Yeah, that's Philip Brady all day long. Mexican food. I don't like Mexican food, but
I remember like watching food, David. I do.
Yeah. I used to love lovely. Yeah. I used to love watching Top Gear. Yeah, I used to love watching Top Gear, and he used to always take the mickey out of Mexico for some reason. So that and I tried it once, didn't like it. No, Mexico, too spicy for me. He also put for Elly, very disappointed with the girl signed from Real Madrid last year. And he also put on there, our second choice goalkeeper is brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think she's Finnish, actually, not Norwegian. I've got her nationality wrong. She's Finnish. I can't pronounce her name again. A little bit like me. I'm a Greek girl. I should be able to pronounce it, but it's not a funny name. It's just hard to pronounce. Yeah. Right. But she's very good. When she played against Arsenal last year, very impressive. You know, very athletic, and she's got one of those. She's got those long legs and a shorter body, and she's a bit like She reminds me. The way she jumps for the ball, she reminds me of Pat Jennings because she's very, you know how Pat Jennings used to get to the top she's really athletic, and she gets to the high shots, because a lot of girls, they don't really do a lot of low shots. They do curlers because they know the goalies are shorter.
Yeah.
And they've got more success going for the high spots rather than the lower spots. Yeah.
Yeah. Just very quickly, we didn't say the chairman for the women's side is a woman called June Clark. She's the chairman. I wish you. I think she. Yeah, but enough said on that. And
and the head coach.
And the head coach is Rennie Skinner. So that is the manager of the women's side. And as the season goes on, the more matches we cover on here, because we are going to cover all the matches for the women's side. Elly's gonna get. We're gonna actually do. Elly's got. I think it's okay to say, Elly, that you will be able to get interviews with the players, and then we might do some of them live if Elly's at the training ground. We will be getting interviews up with the players. So we've got a lot coming up. We're going to do build-up shows, pre-match shows, everything. So we're going to put the whole lot into the women's side of the game. We're actually going to pioneer this on this channel, and this is, we're going to run it alongside the men's side as well.
I've written to the club before, as you know, Dermot. I've written to Chloe Wakeling, who looks after the women. She's on she does everything for them. Yeah. Right. So with the club, it's very hard because they're so busy. Right. And obviously the women's game is heightened. So she's probably got thousands of emails. So she has acknowledged my email. So all I have to do now is her game just to give me that last bit of endorsement, and then I'll start interviewing the girls, and it'll be exclusive interviews. And do you know what I like about it? It's because it's going to make them even more get a higher profile within our community, because that's what I want to do. And I want people to come on our channel and talk about the girls like they know about them. Yeah. They know what position they play. They know how many goals they've scored and the assists they've done.
Yeah. For myself personally, I think it's great for you. I think it's great for the women's game, and it's great that we as a channel can say, well, look, exclusively we are going to follow the women's game at the Spurs ladies side. And I think for us to do that as a channel, well, not many other channels don't. I think we're going to try to pave a way, because the women's game deserves every bit of content as well as the men's game side by side. Yeah. And I think that's what we will do. Elly, we've got Dave Clark here. Big up, Dave. He's been brilliant in the chat today. Some of his questions have been fantastic. He said, who is the midfielder who got a serious injury last year? Don't know her name, but she's our best midfielder. She's been out for a long while. She's been out. I think it was Esther Morgan, but I'm not sure. I think it was Esther Morgan, because they were talking about her at the ground yesterday. Not yesterday, on Sunday, sorry. It feels like it was yesterday, but I think it was Esther Morgan. But let me just check, because I don't want to get something wrong. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I'm following the ladies' team. I should know these things. Yeah. Right? I know she got an injury, but I don't know whether it's if it's that one you're talking about, because she was out for a lot of last season. Yeah. Well, for the stream next week, we'll have the answer for you, because this is going to be a weekly stream. So we'll have the answer for you next week, Dave. So I hope you can tune in for that. Elly, look, I want to talk about her game too. I want, look, it's something that I think is fantastic that it's been done. It's doing. I think it's a great idea as well. Kirsty, who I've never met, but I've talked to on Twitter, I think.
Lovely. I met her the other day.
She's such an advocate for the women's game, and what she started and doing, fantastic. And I think she's really is a very impressive individual and an inspiration, I think, to many of the women's game. And a lot of men can actually take a note out of her book, how they promote themselves on certain things. And you're now involved in it as well, Elly. I'm going to promote as much as I can, as well as the women's side and the men's side. So I'll be doing my bit as well. With you now becoming, Elly, an ambassador for her game too, how does it make you feel? What do you hope to achieve? But what I mean by how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel for where you've come from, where you started, to where you are now with her game too? And what do you hope to achieve for this season and the seasons beyond?
Right. Well, for her game too, obviously I'll be dealing with prejudices. People will be emailing me all sorts of things that have happened to them at games, either players, supporters, coaching staff, referees, whatever, whoever it is. They'll approach me and they'll send me an email, or they'll just contact me direct, because all our personal numbers are up there if people want to have a chat. So we're there for them 24/7 really. So like if we're doing other things with our family, and then what we'll do, we'll deal with their email straight away, because at the end of the day, you don't want to leave it fester. Yeah, as soon as it comes in, you deal with it. And if you can't deal with it, you pass it on to someone else who can deal with it. You know, so all this good work is going to go in to helping women and girls who are abused in any sort of way, to help them cope with it mentally and sometimes physically, because sometimes they get physical attacks on them as women as well. So yeah, we're going to be the backbone to help these people get through it, you know, because we've been through it ourselves, Dermot. You know, we've been abused. When I was younger, I was abused, so I know how to help these people. I know how to make them feel better about themselves, you know, even if they're going as a supporter. I'll give you an example. I went with my daughters to the Brighton FA Cup game last season, and we won 3-1, but there was one guy there, he was just pestering us, and he was just like a lech. He was just trying to kiss us, cuddle us. And then we pointed out to the security people that he was doing it, and he moved over to the other side because he knew that we'd complained about him. And then he came back. He came back and he kept on doing the same thing. So there was a guy just behind us, and he goes, "Leave the girls alone." He shouted at them, and that got the message through to him, and he moved away. Because he heard the man say it, and he thought, right, I might be threatened, he might punch me one, but these girls won't. I felt like it, but I'm not a violent person. I deal with it with talking to somebody and trying to educate him. You know, you can't do this. Can you stay away? Yeah. But as soon as he heard that man say it, he walked away.
Yeah. Look, Elly, we've... Look, Elly, you know what... I don't really know how it. Look, I've had prejudices most of my life, and I know what it's like. It's nothing what you have had done, Elly, to the women's game, and what some women have done to that, which is atrocious. I think bullying women, I think any sort of bullying or violence or even threatening behavior is not acceptable, whatever shape or form. I don't give a fucking
you know,
I don't care if you're a 6-year-old man or a 15-year-old kid. You do not. Women deserve respect. I don't give a shit. And I'm sorry for swearing. It's something very close to my heart. Something very close that women deserve respect. They're on the same standard as men. And any man that bullies a woman, either you're married to them at football games, in the pub, on the tube, on any social media, is no man at all. And I think for me, it's, I've been through it with my own abuse myself, with what I've gone through, and I won't air it on air what I've been through, but I've been through pretty hard times. Even recently with my own autism and ADHD, which I find difficult. You get prejudice and get that. And I understand what it's like, and I'm fully behind this her game too, because it is right that women have a right to be on equal measure as men. That they really do. And look, if a man has to be threatened by another man, then people in that stadium have to look out for the women that are there. The men, the genuine, decent people, have to look after. We went as kids. They looked after us as kids going to matches, Elly, when we were small. Why can't men not do this for the women now? If they go, you went there with your 2 daughters. You didn't ask for a leech to come on to you and your two daughters. So
I
where was the
know.
security guard to move them? Where was the fans around you? Hey, mate, leave her alone. There
Yeah,
has to be, society has to do more. Tottenham have, as a football club, have to do more. They want to bring families and women to games. Well, if you're getting what you got, Ellie, and you had, if your daughters were younger, you'd be thinking, do I bring them again? And
I know.
as any parent, so
I
so
do.
what does as a society, Ellie, look, her game too, is it to educate the fans, the people? And does Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have to get involved with this education as well? Does the Women's Premier League, does the FA Premier League have to get into this education? We all take the need
Yeah,
for racism and racial abuse. Why not abuse to women? Do the FA and the men's side
yeah,
have to go hand in hand with this as a joint, you know, advertising? This
yeah,
is not right.
yeah, of course. And her game doing so many adverts, and they got all players, supporters involved, referees, linesmen, anybody who's involved with the game, right? They hold up cards saying really poignant messages to send the message to people that are abusing, yeah, that we're not going to stand for it anymore. You know, we're standing together, right? With men and women. It's not just women standing together, it's women standing by the side of a man saying this is wrong. It's wrong for a man, it's wrong for a woman to do this. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's a joint effort, you know, it's not for one sex, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel that all the things that they're doing by promoting her game too in such a brilliant light, you know, and helping people recover from abuse, helping people at the height of the abuse, helping people that have gone to a game, like you said, like when I went with my daughters, not getting that happen anymore, stamping it completely out. This is not acceptable. You cannot do this. Yeah. I mean, when I go to matches on my own, I don't get it. I get it slightly. I get it slightly on the way to the ground, but not actually in the stadium from the supporters, because we're all one family in there, and I'm a pretty crazy lady in the football as well. So I'm like one of the lads, yeah. So they treat it's not even being treated as one of the lads. They treat you as a woman, obviously, because they see you're a woman, but they bring you into the family. You know, they don't treat you any different from a fella. So they'll swear in front of you. They'll call somebody whatever for doing that or wasting time. You know, and they won't hold back, which I like. But they won't apologise for it, which I like, because I just want to be treated just as an equal. If they're swearing, if they're being nice, it doesn't bother me. You know, I'm there to watch the match and enjoy the match with real people, you know, and all the people that get abused, we want to help them collectively, you know. We're one family at the end of the day with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and then there's Manchester United, Arsenal. We're all one family. We all got to help each other, you know. We don't have to just help your own club as well. You can go with beyond your club.
Yeah, I
Like
just
if
want
they're
to
not
end.
getting help from their own club, come
Yeah.
to us on her game too. You know,
I just
we're
want
there
to
to
end.
support.
Sorry, Ellie, I did not mean to overtalk you. I apologise.
No,
I
no,
just want to end
it's all right. We're
on this
lagging a
point.
little bit anyway. Yeah,
I just want to end this point, and it's actually a very good point. No, it starts at home. Parents and grandparents are
yeah,
the ones to set the children on, and that is so true. That is
yeah.
so
I've said
true.
that
I
on
mean,
her game too as well.
I I was brought up, Ellie, by Irish parents. My mother from the north,
Yeah,
my father from the south.
yeah,
Right, so I had different parts of Ireland. Very
yeah.
strict upbringing. My
Bloody
upbringing
hell.
was you were
Yeah,
spoke when you were spoken to,
yeah,
and respect your elders. And if I was cheeky, say to even to a person older than me, I would got a clip around the ear.
yeah,
So it's set at an early age these people,
Definitely.
and Elly, it's a generational thing as well. It's got worse, I think, as the years have gone on. And I think
Yeah,
we see a lot around social medias as well, Elly, you and me both.
I know. You see it all the time.
Yeah, and it's wrong. It really is wrong. And David Clark, big up to you. And he says, he also says, I've just volunteered as a meet and greet at a local hospital. The course I had to go through regarding abuse and care. Well, big up, David Clark. And thank you for all what you put into the chat today. It's been really insightful. Elly,
Yeah,
look, we'll come to the end of this show. We're back next week.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to next week already, actually.
yeah,
Next week, a bit different. We're going to be talking about the latest Spurs game. Elly will have videos. We'll have
yeah.
stats for it, like a proper pre-match show. Elly, any last words on her game too, and to the Spurs fans out there who watching it live and going to watch it later? What's your message about the women's game?
Yeah, come and support the women, because we need more supporters at our Leyton Orient Stadium. I didn't catch the attendance yet. I haven't checked it, but it looked like about 2,000 or 3,000, I would say. But we want more. We want at least 8,000 to 10,000 there at the away at the Leyton Orient's ground. Sorry, and then we need more supporters when we come to White Hart Lane. Let's really support the girls and get 50,000, 60,000 to beat the Arsenal as well, because they got 47. Let's top them. Let's not let them win. All right, they smashed us 4-0, but when we get them to White Lane with our crowd behind us, they can raise those girls to new heights. I just want us to thrash them like the men's team. We thrashed them at White Hart Lane. Let's do the same for the women. Yeah?
Yeah, that's it, Elly. And I put you on solo layout there as well, just to give that bit of drink for you. Listen,
nice.
Elly, look, it's been a wonderful stream. Really enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me come on and be a co-host. I've really enjoyed it. Elly, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, what am I going to take you out with? Do you want to take you out with a song?
No, just what's on next week. What we got planned for it. What we got planned for the Queen Elly Spurs Ladies show next week.
So next week I'm going to be at the Everton match. Sorry, the Brighton match. And then the following week I'll be at the Everton match. So there's 2 matches to cover. And I'm just hoping for a better performance from the girls, because I know they can play better.
Yeah.
And I want to get some interviews as well before they go into that match. So I'm hoping and praying that this Hertz Game 2 authorization comes through.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I want to sneeze. Oh, that's it. My God, I've swallowed something and my throat went. So I just want to reiterate that. I just want to make sure that the girls get good coverage. I'm going to get some live action as well. And I'm about 90% sure I'm going to go down to Brighton now. All right, I've got to persuade the husband to take the car. So that's another thing I've got he's been phoning me since we've been on the stream as well. So I'm going to phone him, make sure that I can have the car for that Saturday, for that Sunday, sorry. And then just big up the girls, and give them nice reports on what's happened at the games. And also I want to do some player profiles as well.
Yeah.
So, and also have some live interviews so that I can send them in to you, Dermot, when you're doing, hopefully you'll be doing some watch-alongs very soon as well.
That's what I'm hoping to do, the first one against Brighton.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping to do, the live interviews as a live stream. So that's what we're hoping to do.
Cool. And then I can do my pre and post-match reports for you.
Yeah. We are going to do all things the women's side of the game. We're going to follow the international games as well. We're going to follow the Lionesses. We're going to follow the girls in green. Yeah. So we're going to follow both sets of international sides on the build-up to the World Cup. This is not just the home of the men's side, Tottenham Hotspur. This is your home of the Spurs Cockcrollesses.
Yeah. And also what I'm going to do, Dermot, is research the other teams as well. Because I know a lot about the Spurs teams and I know snippets of the other teams, you know, their star players, but I'm going to really go in depth and know my stuff, you know, because as a lady correspondent, I just don't want to know about Tottenham Hotspur only. I want to know about the other clubs and how they're doing, what formations they're playing, you know, who their managers are. I know quite a lot of them, but I want to learn more as we go along the season. Like when David asked me the question, who was the injury? That's something I should know, right? I got a clue who it was. I think it was Esther Morgan or Rhea Percival, one of those two. Because I know Rhea Percival had an ACL injury. She had a very bad, but she's a defender. I think he said a midfielder, if I was right, if I'm correct. Yeah. And so is Esther Morgan a defender. So if he's saying a midfielder, I'll research it so we got the answer for him next time.
But we will be back, and we're here every Tuesday at 3:00. Queen Elly Spurs Ladies Show. I'm really excited about this, following the women's team this year. Elly, thank you so much, and I want to pay a little tribute to you for the end of the stream. You have become since you've become a member of this channel, you've become an inspiration to me personally and on this channel. We all love you on here. The people that follow this channel love you. You're an inspiration. You are a Spurs legend, and we need to cherish you because you're such one of a kind. And thank you so much for everything you do, Elly, because we think you are the best, and you are Queen Elly Højbjerg, the one and only.
I want to throw something back at you as well, Dermot, because you've got a lot of challenges in your life, and you've come through adversity in your life, and you've set up this channel on your own with two other people before, and then you've taken a step back and come back again even stronger, and you've made our channel very, very entertaining with your wit, your charm, and also the way you've got apologies for things that you shouldn't apologize about, because when you spell things wrong because you're dyslexia, you know, we forgive you, Dermot, because that's you, that's part of you. When you say correct it, Elly, do you know what? I don't even want to correct it because that's part of you. You know, that's something that you've lived with all your life, and you've had prejudices against you because of that and other things that you've suffered with, autism and ADHD. You know, these things, and you don't know how much hard work Dermot puts in to these channels. He's up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning working, putting these shows together, and I take my hat off to you, Dermot. I do. I take my hat off to you, that you're fantastic, and we should cherish you as well, because you're the top man.
Yeah, I don't know what, I don't take compliments very well. I don't really know what to say, but just thank you. I'm not very good at that. I know.
That's how, you know, because the hat makes your hair scruffy. That's how much I appreciate you, Dermot.
Thank you. Jurila put lovely words, Dermot. My auntie is a great lady. She'll do anything for anyone. Her knowledge of the game is top class. Jurila, I do that top class. But listen, that is the end of Elly Højbjerg's Spurs Ladies Show. We are back next week at 3:00. We are doing a pre-record for the pre-match show for the Sport in Lisbon, which will be going out
exciting.
Tomorrow sometime. We'll do that later. The watch-alongs tomorrow night. We're back with a post-match show on Thursday, and we'll go again for the weekend with Brentford. Brentford. And
what I want to ask you as well, Dermot,
are we away to Brentford?
We're away to Bournemouth, I think.
Bournemouth.
Is it Bournemouth the next game?
Yeah, probably is. Do you know what? I don't know. My head's gone.
It's Bournemouth, Brentford later. But what I wanted to ask you before we sign off, Dermot, I want to do little shorts of pre and post-match reporting, like I do for the men's team, where I'll send them in to you, the pre-match, and, you know, give you the team news, just to say a minute, 2 minute pre-match, and then the post-match I'll send to you, and then you can either put it on the men's show or the women's show, whatever you prefer. All right? Because if they're on the same day, like the Liverpool game, the Liverpool men are playing Liverpool and the women are playing Everton.
So that's really weird. That's what we're going to do. Don't forget, on the 18th, we're doing a 12-hour stream for autism, ADHD, and children. and families that need help. So we're doing that. We've got a lot of good things. We're going to do a quiz. Me and Elly are going to do a debate on. We're looking for two. We're going to have the extended debate: Maradona or Pele, who's better.
Yeah.
We need two other people that like
or
Pele
any other player that they thought.
Yeah.
Any other player that they thought was better than Pele or Maradona.
Yeah.
You know, put the names in there.
We're going to have a quiz, which is going to be hosted by Dave Harris, the Irish Hotspur. He's going to be the quiz master. It's going to be us against, hopefully, I'm trying to get hold of Sean against Sean and one of his, somebody he can bring with him. So that would be good fun. And we're going to show games. We're going to have debates. We're going to have a lot of fun for 12 hours. So that's on the 18th of November from 12 midday to midnight. And, you know, it is for a couple of charities. We're looking to raise €1,000 for them if we can. We know times are hard at the moment. The link for the charity is in the YouTube channel and the PayPal, but it's not. The PayPal is linked to the charities, and the money will be going to them. And the money will be given to the charities 2 days after the stream is finished, and that will be done live on air as well. So we'll have people who we're bringing the money to. They'll be live on the stream. We're going to have them coming on the charity stream, just explaining what the charity's for. So we've got that to look forward to. We've got loads of stuff coming up. Me and Elly are going to bounce out of here because I need a cup of tea. Elly needs to ring her husband. Elly, take us out.
I've got to see if he's going to give me the car.
Breaking news.
Drive to Brighton on my own. He'll probably drive me there. He'll probably drive me there because he won't want me to go on my own all the way to Brighton.
Thank you, Julia. Very, very kind of you. Dave Clark says Bournemouth. Dave Clark says
Pele.
No, sorry, Maradona.
Same here. Maradona touches my heart.
The only reason I like Maradona because he played for Tottenham once. So that game is actually on YouTube, and I've actually found the whole match. So we might show that in the charity stream as well. But everyone, Elly, take us out, my dear.
Stay Spurs, ladies. Always back Conte and back Rhian Skinner.
Conte will